With me on the phone right now, I have a legend in the world of radio and TV, Nina Blackwood, one of the original VJs for MTV. Miss Blackwood, welcome to the Time Machine.
Well, thanks for having me. It's nice to talk to you, Jarrell.
Hey, how you doing? You good?
Yeah, okay, yeah, nice summer day.
Yes, I definitely can. I can't beat that. You know, the weather is nice out here in the Carolinas, and you're up in Maine.
Yeah, there's a nice little breeze coming off the water. Not so bad.
Wow,
beautiful actually.
Wow, who knew there was a nice weather in Maine?
Well, actually, it's beautiful in the summertime, and I like winter, so I don't mind. I don't mind the winter, but the summer it's called vacation land because it's so nice. You don't get a lot of as much humidity up here.
Okay, now explain to me, how did you get your start prior to MTV?
Well, let's see. I'll try and condense it, but I started playing music when I was 4. So I've always been involved with music, and then I also was involved, in theater and that kind of thing. So I had that duality going on my whole life, basically. And then immediately prior to MTV, I had moved out to Los Angeles, and I was working on a few different television pilots in, a pilot format. And I was functioning as a host, or what would become to be termed a VJ, video jockey. One in particular, which was called K-Punk. I was introducing videos and doing interviews, doing man-on-the-street stuff. So bottom line, I was kind of doing that in an experimental way, and then I had read about this new 24-hour music channel that was going to be launched, and they were looking for male and female hosts that knew about music, and I went, hey, that's what I'm doing. So that's basically it, and I was the first one MTV hired.
Now, kids, to give you a little background information on how MTV was formed, it was formed by Warner Communications and American Express, the credit card people. They formed a company called Warner Amex, and they wanted to create different channels like games, shopping, music channel, and they were all going to be complements to the movie channel. I believe that's how MTV was formed.
Well, the movie channel didn't come on right away. MTV came on before that.
Okay.
But if my memory serves me correctly, but yeah, MTV was basically their baby, but you're absolutely right about the Warner Amex. It was called, the full name, Warner Amex Satellite Communications, if that's not a mouthful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because how I found out about that was basically on MTV Uncensored, and saw the history of MTV. Now, I believe there was another girl that was originally a VJ before Martha Quinn, correct?
Yes, you're right about that. Meg Griffin, who now also works at Sirius. I work at Sirius. Sirius Satellite now, as opposed to Warner Amex Communications Satellite. Now it's Sirius Satellite. But yeah, Meg Griffin, who was a very well-known FM DJ in the New York area, New York City, and out on Long Island, and she was actually hired. I was hired first, and then Mark Goodman and Meg Griffin. So Meg was actually Martha Quinn before Martha, and Meg just decided she didn't want to do television. She did a couple of rehearsals, a couple of interviews, and just decided she wanted to stick with radio. And so then finally, I think Martha was actually the last one they hired.
Okay, so J.J. Jackson, who is deceased, and Alan Hunter, they were picked before Martha Quinn came along.
I'm pretty sure Martha was the last one. It was either Martha or Alan, but I think it was Martha. But it was myself, Mark, J.J., and then Alan and Martha. I think Martha was the last one, yeah.
Okay, now tell me about that period, when you guys are leading up to the infamous, or should I say famous, rocket sequence and Man on the Moon. Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool. We spent about a month working out the bugs in rehearsals, basically, like making sure the set was dressed right, and just getting it ready to air, and working out camera angles and that type of thing. And then we recorded that first 24 hours, and then we all man, we're talking about the baby stages of cable, too, and there wasn't even any cable in New York City at the time, believe it or not. And we all had to get on a bunch of buses. They leased some buses, and we had to drive to New Jersey to watch the launch in this funky club over God knows where in New Jersey. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we did, and it was quite the event. That rocket, I still get butterflies in my stomach when I hear that.
Right, and I believe it was also on MTV Uncensored that one of the guys that was originally down with MTV, he was saying some of the names they came up with before MTV was Rockbox and TV One.
Well, I don't know. That could be true. I don't know about that. Not when I was there, but that could have been certainly could have been names that they threw around before MTV.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was your reaction when you guys were seeing the first 24 hours of MTV and then the Bogus video killed the radio star?
Oh, it was the emotion in the room. I mean, everybody was there from the crew, studio crew to the executives, and everybody. I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. Everybody was just. I have never felt that kind of energy of a relief, like the baby's being born or the ship is being launched, and just because so many people had spent months and months in preparation for this time, and you knew that once it was off the ground, that rocket was off the ground, the thing was nonstop. It was 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's like the ship had sailed, and it was quite an amazing feeling in that room.
Mm-hmm. Now, explain to me, what was it like growing up pre-MTV? Because your generation grew up with music on TV like Ed Sullivan, variety shows of that nature. So what was it like?
Right. And, of course, the big ones, prior to MTV, Midnight Special, Don Kirshner's rock concerts. So that's when you'd see, bands on stuff like that. And, of course, Ed Sullivan, back in the old days, but, the Beatles and Elvis. I didn't see Elvis, but that was before my time. But I certainly do remember the Beatles. And, the Smothers Brothers show, Sonny and Cher had a variety show. So you really... Oh, and, of course, let's not forget American Bandstand. American Bandstand, you would see the artists, but nothing like the videos. There was certainly nothing like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, I went on MTV.com when they were celebrating the anniversary of MTV and seeing the first hour. If I was a kid growing up in 81, I would have been like, "Ma, call the cable man. I want my MTV."
That's right, and I think that marketing, the marketing slogan that they had. Sting and Mick Jagger and Pete Townsend, "I want my MTV," was a brilliant form of marketing and certainly worked. And again, the thing that's almost inconceivable to imagine these days is that, as I mentioned earlier, cable was in its infancy as well. So this MTV actually spurred families to get cable that didn't have cable, because they'd see, on the network television, call your cable operator and tell them, "Oh, I want my MTV." Well, you had to have cable to have MTV, so that would get the people hooked up to cable. So it was really, we helped to grow cable,